Hello, my name is Fiona, and I am a certified teacher and a Praxis coach with Study.com. Are you preparing to take the Praxis Fundamental Subjects Content Knowledge Test 5511? These practice questions cover citizenship and social science and the subtopic of people, places, and geographic regions. Let's review some of the types of questions you may encounter on the exam. Let's jump in. Problem number 1. This photo shows some items used by some of the first farmers when agriculture was just beginning. Which of the following eras was this? The modern era, the environmental era, the Neolithic era, or the human era? Let's go through each. In the modern era, most historians agree that this period began around the year 1800, and farming culture started thousands of years before that. So right off the bat, we can cross that one off. Next, environmental era. As a result of the pollution caused by the Industrial Revolution, which was from 1760 to 1840. So there was a concern over the health effects on the population as well as the countryside and the wilderness in both America and in Europe. And that was the environmental era. And again, that is far after agriculture started. So it's not environmental era either. The Neolithic era is also known as the New Stone Age or the Agricultural Era. It's primarily known for being the beginning of human settlements and the end of the hunter-gatherer lifestyle. Farming and the domestication of animals for food were favored over hunting and gathering. So this seems like an extremely strong candidate. But let's go to the last one. Human Era. Also known as the Holocene calendar or the Holocene era, this is a system of year numbering that adds precisely 10,000 years to the Common Era before Common Era system that we now use. So while the time period coincides with human settlements and agriculture, that's actually not the official name. So that's when we're talking about the beginning of agriculture, we're using the term Neolithic era. So this is the correct answer. Problem number 2. The provided image represents the world using which type of map projection? Equal area projection, Albers projection, Mercator projection, or azimuthal projection? Let's review each of them. Equal area projection. This type of map projection shows similarly sized regions on Earth as similarly sized on the map. However, distortion of the shape, etc., may occur. Albers projection. This is an equal area conic projection. It uses two standard parallels to reduce distortion found in a projection using only one standard parallel. Mercator projection. Mercator is a conformal cylindrical map projection that was designed to predict compass bearings more accurately for maritime voyages. And lastly, we have the azimuthal projection. This is a map projection in which the Earth is presupposed to rest on a flat surface and the features are projected onto it. And that is exactly what we have in this image here. So it's not equal area, it's not Albers, and it's not Mercator. It is the azimuthal projection. Problem number 3. Cartography was revolutionized in the 16th century through which mathematical representation of the globe? Mercator projection, global positioning system, Gall-Peters projection, pseudo-cylindrical projection. Now let's look at the question again, the 16th century, and this was a time at the beginning of transatlantic exploration, maritime voyages. So keeping that in mind, let's go through each of these. Mercator projection, we'll just recap. It was designed to predict compass bearings more accurately for maritime voyages. So I think this is absolutely the strongest candidate. But let's go on. Global Positioning System, GPS, a system of satellites and a network of monitoring and control stations that broadcast navigation signals. And of course, that was not possible in the 16th century. It's a very new technology, so that is not the case. Gall-Peters projection, a rectangular and equal area map projection. It distorts most shapes, as with all equal area projections. That would not have helped with maritime voyages, and that's probably what we're looking at for the 16th century, so we can cross that one out. Pseudo-cylindrical projection. These projections are typically straight horizontal lines for the parallels of latitude, and most often the meridians of longitude are equally spaced and curved, and again, not helpful for maritime voyages. And that's what we're looking at here. So the Mercator projection is the correct answer. Problem number 4. Environmental possibilism is a philosophy that maintains which belief? That the environment is 100% tameable. That the environment is dying. That the environment determines how people behave. Or that the environment limits people. What is environmental possibilism? This is the idea that our natural environment constrains human activity, but we can adapt to some of these limitations through the use of technology. So let's go through each of these again. That the environment is 100% tameable. That is not the correct answer because we can adapt to some of these limitations. So not that some is not 100%. That the environment is dying, that has nothing to do with environmental possibilism. Next, that the environment determines how people behave. Now, if the definition ended here, then that could possibly be the answer. But there's also this part here, but we can adapt to some of these limitations through the use of technology. So this is not the correct answer either. That the environment limits people. This is fairly general, but given our definition, this fits best. So that is our answer. I hope I was able to answer your questions so that you now have a better understanding of the topics you can expect to find on the test. Please remember to like and subscribe to this channel so that with Study.com's help, you will feel confident and prepared on exam day. Bye for now.